Hi guys, so this video is a video about transitioning from one school to a different school, and if you're a new person in school, just different tips and tricks and kind of like life hacks, if you will, on how to be a new kid and just different things that can help you transition. So I went to new school almost every single year when I was in high school and middle school and throughout elementary school, and overall I just kind of moved around a lot, and so I didn't know how to go about some situations, and it was kind of hard growing up, but at the same time I accumulated a set of tips that really helped me, and just like a set of habits that really helped me have smooth transitions from one school to a second school. And now I am sharing all of these things with you so that way you can have a smooth transition. The best thing that you can do is to know what's going on in that school that you're going to go to and try to participate as much as possible in their activities that are open to the public. So for example, one of the schools that I went to, I was prepping for the SATs, and then when I actually went to go take it, they didn't offer at my school, so I had to go to a different school to take the SATs. And I ended up going to that school to take them, and in between the SAT breaks, I ended up talking to this girl, and she became a friend, and we ended up exchanging phone numbers and we became friends. And then what I didn't know is that I ended up moving to that school the following year. So then, since I already knew somebody from that school, I just kind of hit her up and I was like, hey, how are you? Do you remember me? I met you and we took our SATs, and she introduced me to her friends, and before that school year began, I kind of already had a friend, and her group of friends befriended me as well. You find out if they have a really big spring festival or anything like that, if you know that town is really big on a certain type of sport, and they happen to have an arena there and people go there, my advice to you would be to grab a friend, grab a buddy, and go to those events, go there and try to make friends, befriend as many people as you can before the school year begins. I would strongly suggest that you go to that school and you sign up for it before the school year begins. So many schools won't let you take or won't let you be part of certain classes if you don't sign up a year in advance. So for example, AP classes is a huge one that is just about the same in almost every school, where you have to sign up the year beforehand, and then you have to do a bunch of summer work, and then you can start in the fall. And they won't let you sign up in the middle of the year, or in the middle, or even in the beginning of the year, they won't let you sign up. And then there are other things, some schools are really strict about peer leadership, some schools are really strict about just so many different things, so many clubs like Key Club and other things like that. So that way when the school year begins, you can participate in all of those things. If you do know what school you're gonna go to, maybe it's a school really far, maybe in Arizona, and then you're moving to Florida, or just somewhere where it's not really accessible to you. It's not you can go there and visit the place, or make friends by visiting their events that I used to join with Facebook groups and just different online groups of things that I know people participate in. So for example, if a high school's really big on hockey and they have a really big hockey team, and they have a Twitter for their hockey team for news or things that are going on in their sports department or things like that. I would strongly suggest that you follow those online places, and then if people are making comments, say something really happened, a game happened, you can if they have clips on it online, you can start making comments about it and just start talking to people online about those things. And by the time the school year begins, you've already been talking to people from the school from months ago. You're gonna physically print out a map, and then you're gonna check your schedule, and you're gonna know if I'm going from classroom 314 to classroom 103. You can actually, on the map itself with different highlighters and different colors, you can actually map out the route that's easiest and fastest so you can get there. The odds are is that at some point you're probably going to get lost if it's a big school. Then I would strongly advise you to not ask other students for help finding your way around, sometimes because other peers think it's funny to kind of lead you in the wrong direction, and they can have a good laugh from it. Just ask a teacher, actually read the handbook, and this is why. The majority of people in school haven't read the handbook, but everybody knows the rules. Everybody knows what you can do and what you can't do, and everybody kind of knows the flow of how things work there. So when I was in 12th grade, I actually went to school where they give you a lanyard, and you had to have your ID on you at all times. And this was absolutely and totally mandatory. And for the most part, the majority of the student body actually followed this rule. And if you didn't, you got like in horrible amounts of trouble. Like they would send you immediately to like vice principal, and like you would get in so much trouble for something so simple and so little. And it's that type of thing where it's like you really wouldn't know unless you had actually been going to that school for a while. So it's that type of thing where it's like, okay, actually read the handbook and just know all the different rules and everything that could happen. Ultimately, the odds are is that, you know, you're gonna end up breaking the majority of them. The odds are is that there's so many rules in there that the school doesn't even really follow through with. But be aware of all the rules so that way when you get there, you're not that one person that does that one stupid thing everybody knows you're not supposed to do. And when it's your first day, immediately start talking to people about lunch. And this is why. By the time lunch rolls around, you have like approximately half the day to find somebody to sit with, because you don't want to get there and sit totally and completely alone. And if you are new, like say you just moved there in the middle of the school year, the odds are is that people are probably going to be a little curious about you, so they're going to start talking to you. So if you are having these conversations with people, just be like, oh cool, so what period do you have lunch? And then you can be like, oh that's so cool, I have period at lunch too, who do you sit with? You know, just find somebody to sit with before lunch actually rolls around. If you don't actually find somebody to sit with, it's okay. Like don't try to hide it. Like don't be like Lindsay Lohan in Mean Girls where she went to the bathroom and she ate her lunch alone, because people know you're new. Like they're gonna know you don't have friends, not because you're a terrible human being, but because you're new in that school. And so that kind of makes sense to them. And you kind of have to be okay with knowing that, you know, sometimes you're going to be alone. And as your like group of friends develops, like you're gonna find new people that you actually feel comfortable with, so that way you're not alone during lunch. But if you are, then just be confident about it and like don't try to hide or kind of like shy away from it or like try to make yourself seem invisible. Like if you're just in that situation, then just kind of tough it out and like eat alone with confidence. I do have a whole bunch of other tips and stuff like in regards to like making new friends and like just like different types of attitudes you should have just like for social reasons when you're new in school. But I don't want to make this video super long, so I think that I'll just make a different video with those tips. But yeah, if you are new in school and this helped you, then just make sure you share it with other people that could also be in a similar situation, and then give it a thumbs up.